Hi. Hello, I'm Sharon Garland. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, health coach, wellness coach, nutrition coach. And today I'm going to talk to you about macronutrients and what they are and how the body uses them and how to portion them throughout the day. You can find me on vitalityfyi.com on the web. You can find me on Facebook. You've already done that. Vitality FYI. Also Instagram, Sharon Garland _ Vitality FYI. And I try to post a lot of recipes and fun things. So connect with me there. Right now, I'd like to share my screen and show you some PowerPoint slides that I have prepared to help us get through the macronutrient education that I have prepared for you today. So let's get that rolling. Slideshow, play from start. Here we go. All right, eating healthy with busy lives. We've all got busy lives. We know that. And we all want to eat healthy, but maybe you don't really know how macronutrients figure into the picture. Last session, we talked about mindset, and that's very important. And I hope that you did the worksheet and came up with 2 things that you wanted to incorporate in your week that would require mindset. So this week I have a worksheet that you can download by registering. There's a link in the Facebook ad for this webinar series where you can go register, and you can do that even after the webinar to receive a free guide on macronutrients and a meal planning guide. Just a basic meal planning guide that'll help you figure out how to incorporate macronutrients, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So, eating healthy for busy lives, macronutrients. Today's agenda is identifying macronutrients, the importance of macronutrients and how to incorporate them for optimal health. Macronutrients are where our calories for energy and cell growth come from. Micronutrients are the vitamins and the minerals. Macronutrients are proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. That's important to note. So let's talk about carbohydrates. There's a lot of people trying to skimp on carbohydrates, and of course we have the low-fat, whole grain way of eating being pumped out through the media. That's been actually responsible for quite a spike in diabetes and heart disease, truthfully. You really got to incorporate proteins, fats, and carbohydrates in a proper way to get the maximum nutrition for optimum performance for your body. Carbohydrates are our primary source of energy and aid in recovering from physical activity. Our brains and red blood cells rely solely on carbohydrates for fuel. Pair carbohydrates with other macronutrients to slow down absorption, especially effective to pair carbs with fats. Unrefined or complex carbohydrates are what you're looking for. They can be found in vegetables and fruits and beans and nuts and seeds and whole grains, not ice cream. So the simple carbohydrates are the ones that are processed really quickly and turn to sugar. And if your body can't use that up as fuel right away, then it turns to fat. So you want the carbohydrates that are more complex, like I just said, the vegetables and the fruits and the beans and the nuts. And that's the difference between the simple and the complex carbohydrates. Protein is necessary for the maintenance and repair of body tissue. All cells, skin, organ, muscles require protein as building blocks for the cells. Protein and fat, as I just said, slow down the process of turning into sugar. Proteins and fats slow carbohydrate process down from turning into sugar, thereby helping control blood sugar. very important. Protein can be found, of course, in grass-fed beef, local free-range poultry, wild-caught fish, nuts, some vegetables, pastured eggs, legumes, beans, grains, nut milks, avocados, and more. You'd be surprised. There's actually protein in avocados. So support these muscles and get some protein. Healthy fats. There's a lot of people avoiding fats, not understanding how important healthy fats are to the body. Healthy fats do numerous things for the body. They're necessary for the brain, the nervous system, and immune health. They can positively affect your mood, intelligence, brain fog, energy, skin, hair, nails, organs, and glands, hormone function, and regulate body weight. Without it, you can open the door to allergies, arthritis, inflammation, learning disabilities, brain fog, and depression, and set yourself up for cognitive disorders as you age, like Alzheimer's. Your brain really requires healthy fats to maintain its ability to function properly and age well. Reach for grass-fed beef, wild-caught salmon, avocado, olive oil, many different kinds of oils, walnut oil, coconut oil, nuts, eggs, seeds, just to name a few. So now what I want to show you how to do is how to combine these things with fiber as well. Fiber lowers the risk of some cancers and can lower LDL cholesterol, think the bad cholesterol. It also helps with digestive woes, as we all know. And in addition, it helps the liver detoxify. So fiber is really important. You just want to add it. If you're not getting the proper amount of fiber, which we're going to go over soon, you want to add it slowly. We'll get more into that later. Fiber can be found in legumes, beans, flaxseed, chia seed, oats, avocados. Avocados have it all. Sweet potatoes, asparagus, passion fruit, Brussels sprouts, turnips, figs, oranges, fruits with skin. All fruits and vegetables have fiber. Some just have more. And you should get about 30 to 45 grams of fiber a day. So if you don't know how much fiber you're getting, you can download many different guides off the internet that will show you how much fiber is in a variety of foods, just to help you get an idea of how much fiber you're getting, so you'll know if you need to increase it or not. The daily micronutrient mix is an important thing to know. 20 to 50 grams of net carbs, veggies, fruits, protein powders, oats, grains, gluten-free flours is what you need in a day. 20 to 50 grams net carbs. And I'm going to teach you how to figure out what net carbs are. 75 to 125 grams of proteins, meats, poultry, fish, meat substitutes. I'm not really sure how to feel about that. I don't really like soy. Healthy cheeses, yogurts, meats, nuts, legumes. I said some starchy foods and vegetables. 50% of your caloric intake should be from healthy fats and fish in a day. So that's important to note. 50%. You got to add fiber, but do it slowly. Keep it comfortable without bloating and gas. Net carbs. Here's how you figure out net carbs. You locate the total amount of carbohydrates in any given food or product. Then you subtract the total dietary fiber from the carbs, and you'll end up with the net carbs. This is an image of a chicken soup, chicken and wild rice soup, a good organic one by Pacific. The total carbohydrates in this soup are 17 grams. The dietary fiber is 2 grams. So that leaves you with net carbs of 2 grams. So this is the way you can figure that out. I have a couple of links that I'll put in the Facebook comments for dietary fiber and carbohydrates values of a variety of foods. But you can search that and find that pretty easily. I also wanted to tell you my quick and easy thing to remember to set you up for good sleep. The way that you mix your macronutrients throughout the day has a huge impact on setting yourself up for sleep. A traditional breakfast of a roll or a Danish and some coffee is just all carbs. And we know that carbs, if you can't use them readily, turn to sugar and then crash you eventually. So that's not a good breakfast. That's going to take you down quicker. It's not going to keep your mood and your energy level elevated. What you want to eat in the morning is high protein with very little carb. So I call it the 1, 2, 3 sleep method. You're going to want to eat your protein at breakfast with 1 portion of your total amount of carbs. What did we say? 50 to, let's go back. How many carbs did we say we needed? 20 to 50 grams of carbs. So if you wanted to get technical, you could divide that amount by 6 and spread that out throughout the day. So you want to get 1 portion of your total carbohydrate intake for the day, plus some healthy fat and a lot of protein for breakfast for optimum energy. Then at lunchtime, you're going to add a 2nd portion. So you're going to have 2 portions of carbohydrate at lunch. And of course, some protein, like the palm size of the palm of your hand of protein. If you're vegetarian, whatever that is that you're using, quinoa, beans, whatever. If you're not vegetarian, the size of your palm, 5 ounces, maybe 4 or 5 ounces of chicken in a salad is going to give you your 2 servings of carbohydrates, 2 portions of carbohydrates, and your fat you're going to get with the meat as well, and your protein. Then for dinner, you want 3 portions of your total carbohydrates per day. So you want very little protein at dinner. Always you want fats with all 3 of your meals. And then the bulk of your plate should be carbohydrates. So that could be salad, that could be steamed or roasted vegetables with a small portion of fish or meat, or again, if you're vegetarian, however it is you're getting your protein. I don't advocate soy, but quinoa, however you're getting your protein. And so you want your plate to be balanced with a small amount of protein and fat and the majority of carbohydrates. Good, complex carbohydrates that don't get turned into sugar quickly because you have protein and fat. So this is how I'd like to see you balance your plate, and it sets you up for sleep. You're getting the bulk of your carbohydrates at your dinner meal. If you work at night, that may not be nighttime. Maybe that's actually in the morning. But if you are a day worker and that's your dinner, you're getting the bulk of your carbohydrates with your dinner. And that's going to set you up for sleep because your carbohydrates will eventually take you down. So 1 portion in the morning, 2 portions in the afternoon with your lunch, and 3 portions in the evening of your carbohydrates, okay? So I'm hoping that you give that a try and report back. Tell me how that sets you up for sleep. If you registered today or even afterwards, if you registered for this webinar before or after, you're going to get the worksheet template. It's basically a template. It doesn't actually look like this one. It looks a little bit different, but you could certainly make one for yourself that looks like this one, or make it however you need it, with some columns for days and some rows for fruits and vegetables, or rather carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, broken down by your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And just kind of give yourself a little plan for seeing through the inclusion of the 1 portion of carbohydrate in the morning, along with your protein and fat. And then again at lunch, 2 portions of carbohydrate, along with less protein and some fat. And then at dinner, 1 last time, 3 portions of carbohydrates with even less protein and still some fat, just to set you up. But you can use this worksheet to help you map that out, because if you have a plan, it's always better. Also, if you registered ahead for the webinar or sign up a little bit later, and you get to download this free macronutrient guide, and it has a listing of many, many fruits and vegetables, and tells you what has protein and what has fat and what has carbohydrates, so that you can map out your eating for the day and help yourself optimize your nutrition. So I'm hoping that you give that a try. So this week's action items are to start thinking about food that you can begin to incorporate to get your recommended amounts of macronutrients, and utilize the worksheet to help you plan your meal for the day, your meals for the day. And don't get too hung up on numbers. I said to divide your total carbohydrates, 20 to 50 grams by 6, and then you'll know how much you need to get for 1 portion, and how much you need to get for 2 portions, and how much you need to get for 3 portions. But don't get hung up on numbers. If you search and download a general chart for the values of carbohydrates of a variety of foods, you'll quickly get to understand what foods have higher content of carbohydrates than others. Sweet potatoes, for example, are going to be higher in carbohydrates than spinach. So you want to have those sweet potatoes maybe once a week, and spinach and kale and Swiss chard and leafy greens a lot more frequently. Certainly you can have some sweet potatoes and some things higher in carbs, but just, again, use the planner to map it out, so you'll know when maybe you're getting the most of your carbs out of that sweet potato you want to have at night with a slice of salmon. And so you want to make sure that you've portioned the rest of your carbs out in the earlier part of the day to accommodate that higher amount of carbs in that sweet potato. It's not rocket science, and it's not hard, and I hope I'm not making it sound difficult, because it really isn't difficult. I don't use numbers. I just think, okay, I had an egg and a spinach frittata for breakfast, so for lunch I'm going to have maybe some chicken salad and a salad, or a chicken salad sandwich. Now I'm going to get some carbs in that gluten-free bread I'm using, so I want to make sure that I accommodate for that, have that protein and some fat to help me assimilate that amount of carb in that bread. Then for dinner, I'm going to have a nice piece of chicken and a whole bunch of roasted vegetables, and that's going to be good. If you're a vegetarian, you could start out with breakfast as a chia coconut pudding. And if you don't know how to make that, you can search it online. I can find that recipe pretty quickly online. But chia seeds are high in protein, and the coconut's going to give you the fat and the carbs. So there's plenty of options for you, just hoping that you'll explore that with these thoughts in mind. Like I said, don't get hung up on the numbers. Just become familiar with some of the values. Just a quick perusal of a chart will give you a basic understanding. And like I said, I will post in Facebook a link to a couple of different charts. Fill out the meal planning worksheet for this week, and use the Micronutrient Food Guide to help you complete your meal planner. And like I said, it's a general worksheet, so you'll be free to adapt that to your liking. But I hope this is helpful, and I hope you share it with people that you know need it. I hope you hit the like button a couple of times. Facebook will broadcast this more readily if we get some likes. And I look forward to seeing you next week. I think we're going to talk about meal planning, because we've got mindset, and micronutrients under our belt. So now we'll be able to do some good meal planning. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Let me see if I can end this show. Bye now.